So verse 14, and they lifted up their voice. That means Orpah, and Ruth, and they wept again. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth, so Orpah's saying goodbye, okay, but Ruth's going to clave onto her. So Orpah left, and she's well within her right to do so. She's not doing anything wrong. And Ruth, she's really loyal. She's going to stay with her mother-in-law. So in verse 15, Naomi is going to tell Ruth for the third time, third is in biblical numerics, for divine completeness. As you read the rest of the book of Ruth, just consider how great a hand the Lord had in all these happenings. So, I met Jeremy's mother at a wedding 150 miles away from home, and I hadn't even been invited to that wedding, okay? So sometimes, God's hand has really... But again, when things go wrong, we have our own will. Verse 15, and she said, Naomi said, behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back unto her people. It's referring to Orpah. And unto her gods. It's not saying unto our gods. You notice the small g in gods there. Return thou after thy sister-in-law. Verse 16, and Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee, or return from following after thee, for whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God, my God. Okay, where Orpah went back to her pagan gods, she's telling her, I want your God to be my God. And then Ruth is also telling Naomi, don't ask me to leave anymore, because I'm going to stay loyal to you. And 16 in biblical numerics is for love. And I find the next verse, 17, is for spiritual victory. Ruth is saying, where thou diest, will I die. There will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me. Okay, again, 17 is biblical numerics is for victory. And you'll have the victory when the plan is revealed to you. So let's look at the sevenfold concentration in verse 16 and 17, and look at the love and the victory. Where she said, whither thou goest will I go. She's saying, where you go, I'm going. Where thou lodgest, I will lodge. If she's living in the sewer, she's going with her. Thy people shall be my people. Like your kin will be my kin. Thy God, my God. So she's not going to return to the foreign pagan gods like Orpah did. Where thou diest, will I die. There will I be buried. The Lord do so to me. So she is putting complete faith in the Lord. But death part thee and me. Again, just the 7 questions could be to a bride and groom at a wedding ceremony. Don't you think? When the bride and groom are declaring their love for each other and saying they'll have victory in the Lord, who gave the bride and groom the greatest gift they could have to each other? I certainly believe it's Father. But again, we all have free will. So Father, we know you are a loving God. We're going to wait for the blessings as you give us further victory in revealing your plan. Verse 18. Number 18 in biblical numerics is for bondage. When she saw that she was steadfastly minded to go with her, then she left speaking unto her. So Naomi saw how loyal Ruth was, and she wasn't going to ask her to return anymore. Verse 19. So they too went until they came to Bethlehem, And it came to pass, when they were come to Bethlehem, that all the city was moved about them, and they said, is this Naomi? Verse 20, and she said unto them, call me not Naomi. Call me Mara. Again, the names are going to be very important. For the Almighty hath dealt very bitterly with me. So Naomi's pleasant one, but Mara's bitter. Naomi later on is going to see how all this, God has a plan in this. But right now, she's kind of feeling pretty bad about things. She feels the Lord had dealt with her bitterly. She had just given her, but she was just given a new beginning. 20 in biblical numerics is for redemption. If you look up redemption in Webster's, you'll find pay a price, rescue from loss. And we'll pick up the rest of the explanation in verse 20 in the next study.